Hey guys, Restore Thrive. We're back here finally to talk about how to solve the couch stretch issue. So couch stretch, as we talked about in our last blog post, is really to open up that front of the hip to allow you, when you're running or doing anything that requires full hip extension, to actually be able to extend through your hip instead of arching through your back. And we see if you don't have that full hip extension, you end up compensating by arching through your back and blowing out your low back eventually. So two ideas here. If you're having a hard time up against the wall, keeping your knee against the wall, getting all the way upright, we want to address two things today. One is downstream, so all that stiffness you may have in your quad, and then upstream above that axis of the hip in what we call the high quad, that psoas and iliacus, those two areas that can make it hard for you to get yourself fully extended. So we're going to start with one we talked about before, which is that classic gut smash, ball into the gut. We can lay over the ball, and the first thing we want to be able to do is breathe, take a full breath in, exhale in this position. Once we can tolerate that, we want to be able to roll a little bit side to side, even spin a little bit to take up some of that slack in the fascia through the abdominal wall there, and spend a good 5 minutes on each side. If you need a little more targeted work, you can use something smaller, like the Supernova here. We can lay on our back. I can put this into that abdominal wall. Again, if I find that hip bone, the front of the pelvis there, I can just smash that ball in, spin it around a little bit, and if I have any sort of stiffness around here, I'm going to have to take some good breath in and out to really let that tissue go and allow it to start to move the way it should. So downstream, talking about how we open up the quad, one of the drills that we like to do with the Rogue Band here is if we get this around the back of the hip, get it way up under the hip here where that hamstring comes into the glute, and then get into a half kneel position with a little bit of tension through the band. What we want to do here is brace our abs, make sure that our knees right under our hip, and then explore some different positions that your hip should be able to get into. The band can actually help us get into those positions a little more easily. So the first thing we'll do once we brace is we'll lean back a little bit. That's going to move that axis of stretch up above the axis of the hip there into that high abdominal wall. We're going to come back to our start position, stand up. If I look down behind me, I see that my toes are pointed straight ahead. If I'm blowing my foot out like this, that's my body trying to get around that lack of hip extension I have. So to really make sure we're extending through the hip here, we're going to do two things once we stand up. You're going to tighten your butt, you're going to drive your knee back, and you're going to feel that move downstream and stretch through that front of the thigh if you're a little bit tight. You only have to hold each position for about a second, so I'll come back down, and in real time it's brace, lean back, come back forward, stand up, squeeze your butt, drive your knee back, keep that back neutral, come back down. Repeat that for 15 to 20 reps. Then what we should find is when we retest on the wall in that couch stretch position, knee against the wall, other foot forward, make sure the abs are braced. I should be able to come up into this position and not freak out too much while I'm here. We hope this is helpful for you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again next time.